morning, everybody. Welcome to a Thursday crochet along. We've got part 3 of our crochet pet Christmas stocking to do today. We just need to make the all-important treat pocket for our stocking. So part 1, we made most of the stocking yesterday. Part 2, we finished the stocking, put on a cuff and our little hanger so it's ready to hang. And today I want to do this inspired pocket. So this is our Fair Isle style paw print pattern. It is available in the Etsy shop. If you're a Silk or Vicuña member, it's also a free members pattern and graph on the members only webpage. It will be part of this pet stocking pattern once I have the pet stocking pattern written up. And with any luck, I'll have that up in the shop later today. If you're a Silk or Vicuña member, it will be a free pattern for members over on the members page. And I'll make a little post about that in the community post later on today. So that's what we're doing. Just some interesting notes. So this was originally made with a size 4 medium weight yarn in acrylic. I used a 5.5mm hook. It's about 6.5 inches square. I obviously want to size this down a little bit. So I wanted to show you that hook. That's the size that this hook and that yarn gets. I want it to be a slightly smaller pocket without changing the pattern at all. And I also want to do a little bit of single crochet around the edge just to finish it nicely. So I will be using a 4.5mm hook today, also known as a size 7. Same needle, scissors, stitch marker, the usual accoutrement. And I'm using a size 4 medium weight yarn. This is 100% wool. So I've used acrylic here. This is some kind of acrylic, I think. And this is wool. This is a Christmas stocking. It's a decoration. In the off chance that I need to wash it once in a blue moon, I will do so by hand. So I'm not too worried about mixing my fiber content. But how perfect is this? This is some Briggs & Little 100% wool yarn, some of their heritage yarn line that I had in my stash. This is almost exactly the same pinky rose that the cuff wound up being. And this is almost exactly the same color as the Santa's Beard Bernat Softy Chunky that I used. So I'm pretty excited that I had these. I need about 20 to 25 yards, maybe a little less, of each color in order to make this pattern. So I'm going to have a pink paw print on a white background. So that is the plan. I'm not using the 5.5mm hook. I'm using the 4.5mm hook just for the pocket. Let's get into it. Mr. InStitches is going to put our Fair Isle style paw print graph up in the right hand corner so you can follow along if you crochet faster than me. But as I usually do with these types of patterns, I'm going to call out the stitch counts as I do them row by row. I'm not bothering with spools today. I'm going to actually just use my 2 yarns as I need them. I'm going to have one in my yarn bowl and I'm going to have the other one kind of dancing around on my desk. I feel like that kind of gives me enough control. I'm going to get my scissors, yarn needle, and stitch marker out of the way. I'm going to move my sketchbook to the side and I'm probably going to move my stocking too. I'll just keep this off to the side. Okay, maybe I'll keep this here just so we know what I'm doing. This is what I'm doing. Getting rid of the bigger hook, don't need that. And let's get started. Mr. InStitches is going to get that up in the corner. It'll be up here somewhere and it'll stay up there for the duration of the video so you can follow along. And a gigantic good morning to everybody. I'm so glad you guys could make it. I've got part 1 and part 2 linked in the description box. So if you need to catch up on any part of this pattern, that's where you'll find it. And part 3, let's get this baby done. We are going to make our pocket. We're going to start with the bottom of the graph. So row 1 will be down here. Row 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and 11. And then we're going to do a little border of single crochet. And there is the graph right on time. Thank you, Mr. InStitches. I'm going to take my background color. So again, I'm using my beigey white for my background color. I'm going to make a slip knot and I'm going to chain 21 to get started. So 21. Welcome, welcome everybody. I'm so glad so many of you could meet us here. So there's 21 chains. 21 chains forms the bottom of our pocket. We're going to double crochet into the third chain from the hook. So skip the first, skip the second, find the third chain, double crochet into it, double crochet into each stitch all the way across. If you're looking at the graph, you're looking at row 1. It's the bottom of the graph. It's all white or all the background color. So either way you look at it, from the left or the right, it is all the same. It is 20 stitches across. This is how you read the graph. If you're working right-handed, you begin the row on the side of the graph where the little number is. So row 1, right-handed, you start on the right, work left. Left-handed, you do the opposite. If you're working left-handed, you would start on the side of the graph that does not have the number on it. So you would start row 1 on the left and work to the right. However, this is a mirror image graph, so it doesn't matter what side you come at it from, you will still get the same little image. So don't stress, don't stress the side of the graph you need to be on. It's not that important. Actually, it's not important at all in this particular image. So just focus on which row you're on and you'll be just fine. So that's row 1. It's the bottom of the graph. That's 20 stitches across. The chain 2 at the beginning of the row, which is the 2 skip chains, counts as a double crochet, and every row starts with a chain 2. The chain 2 always counts as a double crochet. All right, let's get into it. We're going to chain 2 and turn. We're chaining 2 with A. That counts as the first stitch of the row. If you look at the pattern, or I should say the graph, we've got 4 stitches in A or background color. We move to 5 stitches in brown or the black background color, 2 in A, 5 in B, 4 in A. So 4, 5, 2, 5, 4. But I'll call it out as I go. And again, it doesn't matter which direction you're coming at it. The first stitch in A counts as the first double crochet, and that uses the first stitch on the row. So you skip that and you work 3 more double crochet in your background color. When you start that 4th stitch, so anytime you start a stitch before there's a color change, work the first half of that double crochet, and then you want to switch to your secondary color, your B color. For me, that's going to be this pinky rose. I'm going to create a slip knot since I'm joining my second color for the first time. And I'm going to finish off that double crochet with that slip knot. The reason we do this is so that you get the right color on top of the stitch, and then that last little pass sets you up for the right color on top of the next stitch. So the first 4 stitches in my row are all in A, and they all have the same color across the top. I'm switching now to B for 5 stitches. I want to make sure I'm crocheting over top of A. I'm carrying that color. I'm also going to crochet over top of that little short tail, because why not? Double crochet using color B into the next 5 stitches. I'm going to worry about weaving in the rest of that tail later on. We carry the A color so that it's available for us to use when we need it. When you get to that 5th stitch, it's the 5th stitch is the stitch before the color change. Again, you work the first half of it in your current color. Put that color down. I'm going to get that little short tail to the back just so it doesn't interfere. Pick up your carried A color, in this case it's the white for me, and finish that stitch. And again, you can see now that all 5 of those stitches have the right color running across the top of them. We're going to carry our B color because we still need it in the rest of this row. We're going to work 2 double crochet in A, and again we've got an immediate color change on that second one. So you work the first half of that double crochet in A, put that A color down, pick up B, finish it. Now it's 5 double crochet in B and we're carrying A. Mash is asking if I've ever tried to crochet left-handed. I have, and I really want to get better at it because as my dominance kind of changes, like the strength of my hands switches back and forth. So I'd like to be what's that called again? when you can use both hands. The word escapes me at the moment, but I'd like to be able to crochet with my left hand just as well as I crochet with my right. That is something I need to work on though. Right now it's very confusing for me and I feel like a beginner all over again. Color change on that fifth and final color B. We are switching back to A to finish it. We've got 4 stitches left in row 1. You can drop color B, just let it hang out where you last left it. You don't need to carry it to the end of the row. The last stitch is always in the top of the chain 2 from the previous row, so don't miss it. You should finish that row with 4 in A. So that's 20 stitches total. We have brought in our pink or our B color. That's row 2 complete. For row 3, we chain 2 with A and turn. And I'm just gonna try to kind of keep moving my yarn around so that I don't tangle it, but I'm only moving my A. I'm going to keep my B in sort of stationary in a bowl off to the side there. Row 3, we have 3 in A, 14 in B, 3 in A to finish. Nice and easy. If you're looking at the chart, so the chain 2 counts as the first double crochet, so you skip that first stitch, double crochet in the next stitch, start a double crochet in your A color in that third one, put A down, pick up B, finish it. You're going to have a little bit of a reach from where you last used it, so we're going to double crochet over top of that, so don't miss that next stitch, and you're carrying A. So get underneath that, get through the next stitch, there it is there. I'm also carrying A. By double crocheting over top of that little reach, you hide it, so it makes a nice smooth color change. I'm going to double crochet all the way across those 14 stitches, basically all the way across the middle. 3A in the beginning, 3A at the end. You're carrying A in between, however, because you need it out the other side. Ambidextrous, thank you very much. I would like to be crochet ambidextrous. I think that would be really cool. I can draw and paint pretty well with both hands. And I played piano for decades, so that's probably why. But I do need to practice being able to use my left hand to crochet with. This is the last stitch, that's stitch number 14. So there's that middle bit. I'm just going to tug on my A color a little bit because I don't want it to sort of slop out the back. I can drop B and pick up A to finish off that last stitch. So the 14th stitch in B is finished with A. That means I've got the right color running across all of them. Drop B completely, and then last 3 stitches in the row are all with A. That's 20 stitches total for row 3. There we go. So row 1, 2, and 3 all done. I'm going to have a sip of my water here. Hello, hello, everyone, if you're just joining us. Welcome, welcome. We are doing a Fair Isle style paw print to make a treat pocket for the front of our pet stocking today. I'm using 100% wool because that's just what I had on hand. It's size 4 medium weight. I'm using a 7mm hook, and we have just finished row 3. I'm going to move my color A back. For row 4, we chain 2 and turn with color A. That counts as the first double crochet of the row. Then we do one more, so it's 2A, 16B, 2A to finish. So the first chain 2 counts as a double crochet. We work the first half of the next double crochet with A before we switch to B and finish that stitch off. There's going to be a little bit of a reach, so same thing, we're going to double crochet over top of that little reach of yarn plus A because we want to carry A. That makes it a nice neat little edge. Double crochet in over top of those 14 stitches from the previous row plus one more. We have 16 double crochet in B to do, carrying A the whole time. I loved the Fair Isle style blanket. Mosaic crochet is just so much fun. I definitely want to make more. You've sort of seen it popping up. This graph work is so fun. I also love designing with graphs. It's popped up a few times here on the channel this year as well, because I just can't get enough of it. And double crochet into the 16th, or the 16th double crochet in B. You work the first half and then finish it with A so that it's got the correct color on top, but now you've set yourself up to make the proper color. The last 2 stitches are in A. Drop B right where you used it last. You don't need to carry it. Double crochet with A in the last 2 stitches of the row, and that is row 4 all stitched up. There we go. So, pardon me. Row 1, row 2, row 3, row 4, moving along nicely. Row 5 is an exact repeat of row 3. So 3A, 14B, 3A, that is row 5. We chain 2 to begin the row with A, turn. That is the first double crochet of the row, so we skip over that stitch. Double crochet into the next stitch, and because we are using our B color 1 stitch in from where we used it last, we want to make sure we carry it. So we're going to pick it up by double crocheting into that next stitch, but we're just going to slip our hook underneath it so we kind of work over top of it a bit. Start the double crochet in A, but of course we want to switch colors. So we finish it with B, and because we just kind of grabbed it and worked over top of it, it put it in the right place, and we will not have a little reach of color over top of that stitch. So very important. Now we can double crochet with B, carrying A. Let me just get that out of the way. Double crochet carrying A for 14 stitches. So we've got 1 less double crochet in the B color to use or to make on row 5. Row 5 is an exact repeat of row 3. When you get to the 14th stitch in row, or I should say in color B, drop your B completely, switch back to A. Make sure that you occasionally pull on that A color just to make sure that it's not popping out of the stitches on the other side where you can't see it. And then we finish with 3 double crochet in color A. No need to carry B, you just drop it where you used it last. And the last double crochet of the row is always in the top of the chain too, so don't miss it. You'll have 3A, 14B, 3A for row 5, and that's 20 stitches. So we're still making good time here. We are already at row 6. Row 6 is the middle point of this graph pattern. We are going to start with 5 stitches in A, 10 stitches in B, 5 stitches in A. So 5, 10, 5, that equals 20. So we chain 2 and turn with color A. That counts as the first double crochet of the row, so we double crochet into the next stitch. And next, that brings us up to the B colors from the previous row. So because we're going to use B a little further in, we need to carry the B to get it to the right place. So I'm going to just get my hook underneath it while I double crochet the 4th stitch. And now I'm going to start the 5th stitch in A. So chain 2, double crochet, grab that pink and work over top of it so it's where I need it. Drop A, pick up B to finish that stitch. So there's the first 5 stitches of the row in A. Now I'm going to work 10 in B. I'm going to carry A. I'm starting the 10th stitch in B, dropping B, pick up A. I do not need to work over top of B because that is the last time I need it in that row. So I'm just going to drop B right where it is. And I'm finishing the last 5 stitches of the row with color A. So that was row 6, 5A, 10B, 5A. Last stitch of the row is always worked into the top of the chain 2 from the previous row, so don't miss it. You'll have 20 stitches all the way across. That's the bottom part of the paw print, and now we're going to start adding in the little toe beans. I can't even say toe beans without smiling like an idiot. So we start our toe bean, we've still got a little bit of the paw pad, and then we do the bottom of the other toe bean. So the toe beans start in row 7. We chain 2 and turn to begin row 7 with A. That is the first double crochet of the row. We immediately want to switch to B. So there's going to be a little bit of a reach. The top of this stitch will be in A, but don't worry because it's kind of the edge of the row, so I never really sweat that too much. So I'm going to yarn over and work stitch number 2 in B. And I want to make sure that I'm working over top of my A and that little carry. We do another double crochet. Make sure I get the whole thing here. Oh, look, I missed part of that stitch. Don't want to do that. I'm going to start that again. So I chain 2 and turn. I want to make sure I get underneath the whole stitch. So I'm skipping the first stitch because that is the chain 2's stitch. I want this one here. I want to make sure I get underneath the whole thing. There, now I'm underneath it. Double crochet. Whenever you do this kind of quick color change work, it's really wise to just keep looking at the front and the back and the front and the back as you go. 2 more double crochets in B. That's to start the paw pad, the little toe bean. So I start that 3rd stitch in B. I want to drop B, switch back to A. We're still working over the top of that little carry. We are also carrying B now. We're going to double crochet in A. So I'm making sure I get the next stitch. I'm getting over that little carry. 3 double crochet in A. Start the 3rd stitch with A, put A down, pick up B, finish it. So we've got 1 in A, 3 in B, 3 in A, so we're almost halfway through that first bit of row 7. Now we're going to do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 stitches in B. So across the middle, that just finishes off the little paw pad. Remember, you're carrying your A because you still need it. Start that 6th double crochet with the B, but don't finish it because you want to make a color change. So we are switching back to A, and then it's 3A, 3B, 1A to finish. So carry B because you're not finished with it yet. Work the first half of that 3rd stitch in A, put A down, pick up B, finish it with B, carrying A, you need A right to the end of the row, 3 double crochet with B, work the 3rd double crochet, only half of it with B, then you can put B down, finish it with A, and the last double crochet is in the top of that chain 2. That was row 7. Let's just put that down. So we've started our little toe beans. That's the last row of the actual paw pad. So we're done with the paw pad now. In row 8, we just want to finish off toe bean 1 and 4, and it's mostly an A row. So we're gonna chain 2 with A. That counts as the first double crochet of row 8. We are going to do what we did the last time and switch immediately to B. So I'm just going to get this out of the way. So immediately crocheting with B, carrying A, and working over top of my little tiny bit of a carry. Don't worry about the edge stitches too much because we are going to put a little tiny border on it. Double crochet into the next stitch, double crochet into the 3rd stitch, but only start that with the B, put B down. Now you're going to carry B for quite a ways. Finish that stitch with A. So chain 2, turn, 3 double crochet in B. That finishes off that first little toe bean. Now we're going to double crochet across the next 12 stitches. Next 12 stitches are carrying B and double crocheting with color A. We're done with the paw pad, so we don't have to do anything in the middle now. We just need to finish off the other toe bean at the end of the row. I love that you guys picked the pink cuff for this. The more I stared at this little stocking, or this big stocking last night, the more I got excited about it. Penny is a little girl, so I love that her stocking has a little bit of pink in it. I love that cobblestone, or that cobbles, that what I called sausage link yarn. I loved how that made a big chunky cuff. I really love that rosy pink against the green. It's non-traditional, and I really like that. And then I was super excited to find basically the same pink yarn to match that cobbles yarn. It's so similar. So now I have a pink paw print. I just love it. I'm very excited about that. One more double crochet, starting it in A. I'm going to make sure I just tug ever so gently on my B because I don't want it to sort of sneak out underneath my A color. So putting A down, I'm going to finish that stitch with my B. I still want to carry A though because I need A right at the very end. I'm going to double crochet into the next 3 stitches with B. That finishes off toe bean number 4. I'm starting that 3rd stitch with B, putting B down for the rest of the row, finishing it with A, and double crocheting into the chain 2 to finish. So here we go. We've got toe beans 1 and 4 complete. Now we're going to do the 2 middle toe beans. So if you're looking at this one, so that's those 2 complete. Now we're going to do the top 2 middle ones. Chain 2 and turn to begin row 9. Row 9 is 6 double crochet in A, 3B, 2A, 3B, 6A. We're going to carry B. So right where it is underneath that stitch where we used it last row, we want to make sure we grab it so we get our hook underneath it. And you're going to double crochet over top of it with A so that you can carry it. We're double crocheting 6 stitches to begin. And that chain 2 that we used to turn counts as a double crochet. So that's my first 4. I've got 2 more to do. Hello, Vima. Vima with a generous super chat. Thank you so much. Thank you, Vima. And welcome, welcome, welcome. Start that 6th stitch with A, switch to B. You want to carry your A color though, so make sure you work B over top of it. 3 double crochet with B. This is the bottom of one of the middle toe beans. Start the 3rd double crochet with B, but you're going to switch to A. And you're carrying B because you still need it. So here we are so far, 6A, 3B. We're going to put 2A in the middle. Start that 2nd with A, but you're switching to B. You're carrying A, so work over top of it. 3 double crochet using B. Work the first half of that 3rd stitch. You no longer need the B color for the rest of the row, so you can just put it down. Finish that 3rd stitch with A, so here we go. We've established the bottom of the 2 middle toe beans. 6A, 3B, 2A, 3B, and now 6 in A to finish. Drop that B color. You don't need to carry it for the rest of the row. You will use it right there on the next row. Nico! Nico's also in the house. Nico has gifted a membership. Thank you so much, Nico. Sweet members of our community, Vima and Nico. And Dizzy D has won it. Congratulations, Dizzy. Welcome back to the family. Double crochet in the top of that chain 2 to finish the row. So that's 6A, 3B, 2A, 3B, 6A. That establishes the 2 middle toe beans. We are almost done. We are moving now on to row 10. We have row 10 and row 11, and that finishes off the graph. Chain 2 with A and turn, and Row 10 is an exact repeat of row 9. So we're going to double crochet into the next 5 stitches. So the first 6 stitches of row 10 are also color A. You're just basically repeating the row previous. Work the 6th stitch, first half of it in A. Switch to B. B is exactly where you need it to be because that's the last place you used it, but you'll still have like an itty bitty little bit of a reach. So I like to just get underneath it. I'm carrying A, so I want to make sure I double crochet over top of it. Double crochet in the next 2 stitches. Work the first half of that 3rd stitch with B. Put B down, switch to A. 2 double crochet in A, you're carrying B. Work the first half of that 2nd stitch in A. And then switch back to B. Masha! Masha with a generous super chat as well. Thank you so much, Masha. Masha says, when you can share SpongeBob stocking patterns with us, I will make it immediately, and yes, in thread. No rush, I just love it. Girl, I will do that. We will do that. That is one of my favorite stockings. I did write it up, but I never managed to do a tutorial or get the pattern onto the website. But it is Mr. InStitches little characters. I would love to do that. So yes, I will look into doing that as soon as I can. We drop B, we no longer need it at all. Double crochet into the last 6 stitches across row 10. And before we do row 11, we're going to snip off that color B because we no longer need it. So the last 6 stitches of the row are A. So 6A, 3B, 2A, 3B, 6A. It's a complete repeat of row 9. Row 9 and 10 are identical. That's it for the B color. We can snip our yarn. Leave yourself enough tail that you can weave it back and forth and it won't want to unravel. Joanna's Crochet and Animal Sanctuary with the membership milestone. Joanna's been a member for 12 months. Thank you, Joanna. And hello, hello. Chain 2 with A and turn, and that is just straight double crochet all the way across. You'll still have 12 stitches. I should say 20. 20 double crochet, including the chain 2 at the beginning. You just work a double crochet in every stitch all the way across. There's no carrying of colors. And that is it for the graph. Now we just want to add a very simple and quick little neat and tidy border on it. We just kind of want to neaten things up. Nico's on pain meds and or laughing gas, so everything is going to make her giggle today. That's great. Feeling no pain and giggling, that's a good place for all of us to be in. I hope you get better really soon, Nico. Okay, so we can weave in our little tails right now. Why not? I'm not clipping off my A color. I want to continue with my A all the way around to make a little bit of a border, just to neaten up the edges. So here we go. I'm just gonna weave in the little tails. I think the pink paw print is quite possibly the cutest thing I have crocheted all month. Now I'm a little biased because I'm picturing it full of treats on Christmas morning for my sweet little pup. So that's a fun little thought. I really like it in pink, or this peachy color, or peachy, this rosy color. I think I'll just weave it down through here. So I've decided that this is kind of the back of my, I'm just weaving it. I like to weave colors in underneath the same colors, just so that they show less. There's no need to have them showing through the main color. That is definitely not going to come out. This is also wool, so it's kind of grabby. There we go. So that's that. I've got one little bit of a tuft down here. I think I'll just trim that carefully. Okay, so now we're going to, gee whiz, you know, both sides look neat and tidy. I really wouldn't worry about that, either side being right or wrong. Right from where we are, we're going to chain 1 and we're going to turn and work down the first side. Now, you have a couple options. If you want this to be your front, we're going to work down the side. If you'd rather this be your front, chain 1, turn, and single crochet across each stitch across the top, and that will give you this as the front. I think I like this as the front. Now I'm not sure. They're kind of identical. You know what? I'm just going to continue doing what I thought I was going to do. I kind of like this as the front. I don't think both sides are pretty even, so I'm lucky in that regard. So I'm going to chain 1. I'm going to single crochet twice around each row edge. So you're looking for either the double crochet or the chain 2, and you're single crocheting twice around each of them. So there's 11 rows. You'll have 22 single crochet down the side. You don't have to crochet through the stitch. I wonder if I want to get, no, that's fine there. You can just crochet around the stitch. And that will make things neat and tidy. If you want, you can crochet through the stitch if you just kind of want to, if you feel like your tension's a little tight, you can crochet through the stitch, but honestly, I think crocheting around it is just fine. 2 single crochet around each row edge. So it's either a chain 2 or a double crochet. You'll have 22 stitches all the way down. And then into that first chain where that tail is right there, we're going to single crochet twice. So just twice, that just kind of turns the corner for us. I'm also going to work over top of that short tail. And I'm going to sort of tug it a little bit as I go, just so that I don't end up with any like awkward spaces in the back corner there. Single crochet in each of those foundation chains all the way across. So you'll have 20 single crochet along the bottom. But I will say that the stitch count on your border doesn't matter. This is just for the purpose of neatening up things. And that's the only reason I'm doing it, just so I have sort of a unified looking stitch running all the way around it. So I'm single crocheting into each foundation chain that's at the bottom of each stitch. I did 2 single crochet in the corner, so I'm just all the way down the side in the corner, across the bottom. And I've got one more here. It's the first chain. It's that bottom of the chain 2. I want to put 2 single crochet in there and then turn the edge. And then up the side, I want to work 2 single crochet around the edge of that stitch. So at the bottom of the chain 2, work 2 single crochet into the first chain of the chain 2, and then 2 single crochet around the whole, like the what's left of the chain 2, because that's the other side of row 1. And then it's the same as the other side, 2 single crochet in each row edge. And you're looking for either a chain 2 or a single crochet, or I should say a chain 2 or a double crochet. But stitch count, it doesn't matter. You just kind of want to balance out what's going on the other side. So you do not have to bisect the stitch, you just have to crochet all the way around it. If you get confused, just stop, look at your row and realize, okay, so there's the end of the row right there. I'll put 2 single crochets around it. Next row, there's the row there, there's the last stitch. I'll put 2 single crochets around it. And then 2 around the last row 11, around the edge of that. And then into the top of that, in this case it's a chain 2, it might be the top of a double crochet depending on what direction you went. 2 single crochet into the top of that stitch. That'll be the first stitch of row 11 or the last stitch of row 11. Either way, put 2 single crochet in the top of it, and then single crochet in each stitch all the way across. So you can go Whatever way you want, or whatever side you want facing, you want to make sure you're looking at that side as you work your single crochet border. So for me, I started by going down the edge because I kind of like this side facing. But if you wanted the other side facing, you would chain one turn and single crochet across the top first and then down the edges. But other than that, it's exactly the same. Doesn't really matter which direction you go. When you get all the way across the top to the last of the stitches, 2 single crochet in the top of the last stitch and join with a slip stitch to the top of the first single crochet you made. There you go. And we're going to leave a long tail for sewing. I'm going to say like 90 centimeters, 36 inches, something like that. You can fasten off. And of course, we want to sew this to the front of our stocking. But before we do that, I think I'm going to embroider Penny's name across the paw pad. I'm not exactly sure how it's going to look. So I thought, like I always recommend doing, a little bit of sample work is probably in order. I could try it across here. But you know what? Penny's a pretty short name. We spell it P-E-N-N-E because it's actually short for Penelope. And I like Penne because she reminds me of penne pasta because she's a she's a little sausage dog. So I'm thinking if I just embroider a large P-E-N-N-E across the middle, the chunky part here of the paw print or the paw pad, I think I can do it in one go. Another neat thing you can do is, let's see here, grab a little piece of paper. If you're ever unsure, give yourself a visual guide. So for example, this is the size that I have to work with. That's right, from there to there. So this is the real-time embroidery space that I have to work with. P-E-N-N-E is 5 letters, so the middle would have to be an N. And then I have an N here and an E. I have an E on this side and a P. So I have more or less evenly spaced the 5 letters of her name across the size. So the exact size, I want to basically superimpose this into this area. So by giving myself a bit of a visual aid, I'm just going to keep it nearby and kind of keep referring to it. I'll be more likely to get it to fit properly. I don't have to start in the middle with the N, but I can see just by looking at it that most of my letters are about, like the E's are 2 double crochets wide, the N's are maybe 2.5 double crochets wide, the P. So I'm going to try and make all of my letters cover about 2 double crochets. I'm not going to embroider too tightly. And like I said, never done this before, so here I go. I'm going to cut myself a nice long tail of white. So I think the white will stand up pretty well. I think I can see that. And I don't really want to mix too many other colors. I don't know that I have a green. Gee, maybe I've got a dark green that would fit. P might get lost. The white might get lost. Should I try this? Is this too thick? Is this too thick? Maybe not. I might be able to do it with this green. Like I said, doing a little designing on the go here. Green looks great. Love the green. I think the green's a good one. Victoria's wondering if I have a cheat sheet for all the letters in the alphabet. I do not. It is literally on my list of things to do. It's actually closer to the top because I've had a bunch of requests about letters and whatnot recently. So I do want to try and get to that. But yes, it is on my list. Okay, I'm going to try it with the green. I think that's probably a nice way to bring the green back into the overall design. So I'm going to cut myself a length of the green. And do a little bit of embroidery. So I don't have to double back on any, since this is nice and thick, I don't have to double back on anything. So here we go. I'm going to start one stitch in from the edge. So this is sort of my visual edge. I'm going to start over here. I'm going to bring my green yarn in from the back. I'm going to leave a little tail out to knot it. And I am not, I'm going to try and bisect my yarn. I'm trying to kind of go through just a little bit of the yarn to kind of keep it in place. And I am not going to do this very tightly. I do not want this to pull. So hop over to about here. And I'm just using straight lines to do come out down here. So think digital clock or calculator when you're making simple embroidery letters like this. You just want to go with the straightest, simplest lines possible. And of course, you always have to come out. You can't come back out through the same place that you went in. You have to kind of change where your ins and outs go, if that makes any sense. So for example, you don't have to worry about the back looking anything because this is not going to show. It's the inside of the pocket. But there's my P. I don't know. I think that's okay. P, E, N, N, E. So I want to make sure that my other E ends there. My two ends are in the middle. And if I look at my little diagram, I'm pretty close. I think I'm pretty much inside of that. I might just pull that out a little bit when I go to knot it. So there's the P. Targia says, couldn't you put the paper on your crochet, pinch through, and after finish, rip off the paper? Probably, but then I wouldn't really be able to see the little bits of the stitches that I want to go through. So that would be great if I was using embroidery floss, but I think that this is too thick. So I think I'm just gonna, and I want to make sure I'm you know, going over, for example, I want to go to the next place, bring my yarn out. Maybe I'll come out right about here. This is for the E. And I wouldn't be able to see what I was doing with the paper in the way. So, but that would work if I was using something tinier, like a sharp needle and embroidery floss. So yes. Sharp needle embroidery floss? Yes. Big, thick, bulky weight yarn? No, I need to see the stitches and use them as my guide. But I do have an idea of like how wide I need to make them. So for example, this E is on the narrower side. So I'm going to do the bottom one first. A lot of embroidery, like if I'm embroidering on double crochets, usually I embroider on single crochets, which is a little bit more like graph paper, so it's a little easier to see. But there's nothing saying you can't do this. You just kind of have to change the way you approach it just a smidgeny bit. Like I'm trying to make sure I'm focusing on making sure that my lines are all relatively the right shape and size. So there's an E, P, E. There we go. So that's PE. I'm going to hop over a stitch. I'm going to start my N right here. And go straight down. Oh, what's this? That's what that is. Okay. Come down through the middle. And halfway through, I have to remember how to make an N so I don't do it backwards like a toddler. Okay. So I've just come down here. I want to hop over here and do the cross. Get that out of the way. All the way up here. I also love that kind of slightly old-fashioned look that this sort of embroidery has. It looks like something I would have found in a trunk belonging to my great-great-grandmother, and I just love that. It's got that kind of slightly nostalgic old look. Okay, so there's an N. I have to do that now again, so I'm going to go hop over one. Now where did I go down? I went down there. So I'm hopping over one. I'm going to do exactly the same thing again. And I should still have enough room to put in my E. Okay. P-E-N-N-E. I'm going to fix this P. You know what? That's my, I can fix this a little later. I'm going to pull that down. Now I'm getting picky. Okay, I'm going to pull this down between these two stitches just because I think it'll anchor it better. There we go. Haha, P-E-N-N. One more. Got to do an E. And I'm hopping over one stitch. Go through here. So I'm working over the core. I'm working over sort of, or over and within the edges of 2 rows of double crochet on the Fair Isle pocket. And I'm making most of my letters about 2 to 2.5 stitches wide. And I'm trying to put 1 stitch in between so that they're, you know, there's a bit of like differentiation between the letters. I can make, but also to kind of keep them evenly separated. And I'm sort of squeezing in my E, but that's okay. So that's the first one, the middle one, and the bottom one. And right back there. Okay, penny. Aw. And you know what? I was thinking about putting in the date, but I think I'll skip that just because I really like how balanced that is, and I don't want to overload. I don't want to completely eclipse the little paw print with anything more. So penny's enough, I think. All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take this yarn and kind of loosely weave it underneath the stitches at the back, all the way back to where my first little tail is, and then I'm going to knot these together, and I'm just going to trim them. I'm not worrying about what it looks like on the back because this is the inside of the pocket. I just don't want them to be caught, like if we're stuffing something in there. Okay, so I'm going to pull this one under here so these two are at least close together, and then we will knot them together. So that's that done, and nice and tight. Okay, so snip for you and snip for you. There we go. All right, so there's my little pocket complete with embroidered name. Haha! Let's add the pocket to the stocking. So this is the part where you might want to pin it into place. You want to keep an eye on it as you stitch, but you just don't want to. You want to make sure that you don't accidentally stitch all the way through to the other side. So you can keep a hand inside your stocking. But I am going to grab the top facing loops of the stitches on the stocking. I'll show you what that looks like here in a momento. And I'm just going to work myself all the way around. And the nice thing is that the edges of it kind of line up with the sides of my flat stocking. So I've got, it's going to be relatively easy for me to make sure that I don't put it on crooked, but I will stop every so often to make sure. Yes, I could definitely put the stocking, I could put the date somewhere else. I don't know, we'll see what it looks like when I've got it finished. So there is, what I'm doing is I'm grabbing right beneath where the edge of my, where the stocking pocket is, I'm grabbing just the top facing loop of a stitch, and then I'm going to go through a single crochet stitch along the edge of the pocket. And I grab another one and I go through the next stitch. So I hope everybody can see that nice and clearly. So I go through a loop on the stitch of the stocking and then through the next stitch along the edge. And I'm actually keeping my hand on this so that it doesn't want to move around on me because I want it to stay nice and straight. Pocket worked out a little bit larger than I anticipated, but I don't mind. Putting in that green writing kind of helps bring back the green a little bit. Plus, once it's stuffed full of goodies, it will bulge out a little bit. So you'll see some more of the green around the edge. I am going to go through every single stitch all the way around. So this is a nice solidly attached pocket. I'm just always looking for where the next stitch on the pocket is and trying to grab a loop of a stocking stitch directly on it. So here's where I want my next stitch to lie. So I peel this back a little bit. I find the next loop on the edge of the stocking. And this way, because I'm just grabbing the top facing loops, I can be assured that I'm not accidentally stitching all the way through my stocking to the other side. And that's how we do it. You can use the same loop of a stitch on the stocking a couple times if it just sort of works out that way. No rule against that. Hello, Elle. Obviously, you could do this whole stocking all over again with a completely different pocket design. We've got several Christmassy designs available in the shop. Plus, there's a one or two that we did for the calendar blanket last year. So there's a snowflake that would be really, really cute. That was the first. That was the January design. And we've got several cute Christmassy ones at the shop. So yeah, you could totally make this pocket style. This stocking would be appropriate for anybody, given you make it in the right colors and add a stocking, add a little pocket that's got, you know, a design on it that is applicable to the person you're making it for. You can also just make it a plain pocket. There's nothing saying you, or you just leave a pocket off altogether. Not every stocking I have has a pocket. I've come to really adore stockings that have pockets on them, because I just feel like, first of all, it's an added place to put a treat or like a star kind of thing. Like I love little tiny dolls and figurines and stuffed toys. And I just feel like this little pocket would be the perfect place to have like a little stuffed character poking their nose out. And I also love pockets. Pockets are kind of magical. Hello, Georgie. Georgie's been a member for 39 months. Thank you, Georgie. Georgie with a membership milestone says, maybe add a hang tag with the year on the hanging loop. Oh, that's a great idea. Yeah, then I don't have to, that's a great idea. Yes, I like adding little hanging things as well. That's a stellar idea. You know what? Maybe that's what I'll do. Heck, I could embroider a tag. I could crochet the tag. We have a tutorial on how to crochet a gift tag, and then you can embroider anything on it. You know what? Maybe I'll do that. I love that idea. If anybody else is curious about that, I'll link the tutorial to our crochet gift tag. After the tutorial's finished, I'll find it and I'll link it. I think we have a free pattern for that on the website too. And you can easily embroider, sew something to that. That's a great idea. Great idea, Georgie. So I'm almost halfway around. Remember, if you're doing this, you don't sew across the top because that's how you access the pocket. Oh, do I have a visitor?
We promised we would let little Penelope.
But she's going to see her stocking before the big day.
Well, she doesn't know. She doesn't know it's for her.
Don't let her eat anything. Hey, what'd you just grab? Come back here with that. You can't have that yarn. No, that's mine. Stop. I know it smells like a sheep.
Stop stealing things.
Fastest mouth in the West. Yes. Yes. Mm-hmm. Snuggle baby.
Right.
Oh, that's a big wet tongue.
That's a big wet kiss. She did not see her stocking.
Okay.
She was too busy stealing your yarn. Uh-huh.
I love that she grabs this one. This one is it's sheep yarn, so of course she's gonna like that. Ooh. Now my face is all wet. Oh well. I guess there's worse things. Krista says you could sew all the way around it and make it like a patch if you didn't want a pocket. Yes, yes. For that matter, if you didn't want a pocket and wanted to add appliques, you could totally do that too. And we've got a bazillion of those. Dawn says, crochet a bookmark with the year on it and hang it on the loop. That's a cute idea too. I think the hanging date, adding an extra thing to hang off the hanger with the date on it, I think that's the plan. I love that idea. I think that's the route I'm going to go, because then I don't have to interfere with the stocking any further and I can work on something sort of to the side. I really like that idea. Great idea. You guys, as usual, are awesome. Penny is the puppy. Yes, pasta Penny. She is the size and shape of a pasta. Her name is Penelope, so we call her Penny for short, and we spell it like the pasta because we're goofy like that. She's just woken up from a nice long nap, so she's in go mode. It's okay to peel back your crochet to find the right stitch on the stocking. I feel like this is coming together quite neatly so far. All right, I'm about to turn the corner for the last side. Oh yeah. I love the last few sort of little finishing details on a project, especially when they make it feel a little on the sturdy side. Like I really like how this came out. I'm quite pleased. Considering that we made this kind of on the, I'm not going to say on the fly. I had some general kind of ideas. I had given myself a sketch, but you guys helped definitely make the final decisions with color and some textures and whatnot. So I'm just really delighted with the way this turned out. It's always good to get a group consensus on things because somebody always brings something to the table that you probably didn't think of yourself. Oh, a tag in the shape of a dog bone. That's cute. Cute. A bone. That's a really cute idea. And a fish or a mouse for the kitties. Yeah. I like that too. I had thought about, when I was first designing this stocking, I had thought about making an applique of a dog bone and an applique of a fish, and then just making a plain old stocking, and then sort of having one or the other available to stitch on. But then I realized that a pocket might be kind of fun. So I'm thinking along this idea that I might try designing a Fair Isle style bone and a Fair Isle style fish. Actually, I think I have a fish already. Thank you, Paul, for picking up a pattern. Thank you so much. So a Fair Isle style bone pattern and a Fair Isle style fish. So you could be a little more specific with the pocket design if you're making it for a dog or a cat. And I think I'm going to work on that, provided Penny gives me the time I can today. That might be kind of a fun thing. I think we're in for some stormy weather for the next couple days, so I don't think we're going to be going anywhere. So a little bit of crochet is in order, and I do love designing this stuff. It is just so darn fun. And I'm nearing the end of this little bit of sewing. This was not nearly as cantankerous as I thought it might be. There we go. And let's get this corner stitch in up here. And this guy right up at the top. Okay. So I have stitched all the way around the edge. I now have a functioning pocket. Love it. Hello, Elle. Welcome back, dear. Welcome back to the family. Thank you. Thank you. I'm going to stitch through that last stitch once more just to make sure that it's nice and secure. And then I'm going to poke my yarn through to the inside of the pocket. There we go. Peel back the inside of the pocket. Make a tiny little knot on the inside somewhere. Weave this tail in a little bit, and I'm not going to weave in the entire length of this tail because it is just far too long. So let's grab that little, get that out of the way. There we go. There we go, one little knot. And now I'm going to just weave it in underneath some of these stitches across what was row 11 of the pocket. Back and forth like maybe twice, just because I'm using wool and it's very, very grabby, so I know it's not going to want to undo itself. And then I will trim it. And that will be that. There we go. Ha-ha! Oh my gosh. Okie dokie. There we go. Penny's stocking. Now I might do a little hanging tab. I don't know. I'll give that some more thought. But I think that is one complete stocking. That is a nice big pocket. Let's see how big that wound up being. That is 6 inches by 6.5 inches, or 15 centimeters by 17.5 centimeters. So that is a definitely decent sized pocket, big enough for a treat or a toy. Plus I was able to get a little bit of a, I like that. Now the paw print is almost like the background image, and the name Penny is more out in the front. I'm glad I was able to use this yarn again. That kind of ties the whole thing together. Nice big fluffy cuff. The whole stocking is 17 inches or like 44 centimeters from top to bottom, so it's really big. It's definitely sturdy because I used that sturdy bulky yarn. And I love it. I think it worked out so well. Thank you guys so much for joining me on this little mission. We will not have a video tomorrow afternoon. We will instead be having a live stream. So we do have another little crafty festive project for you in store. Not entirely sure on the time. I have to check in with the mister on that. You know, the couple weeks before Christmas, they're just bonkers. But we will keep you posted in the community post area of the YouTube channel. So Stay tuned for that. So tomorrow we will be back. We just will not be doing a video. It's going to be a live tutorial instead. I can hear Penny starting to take the place apart, so that's my cue to finish off the live stream. I will have this pattern up in the shop later today. I'll make a post about that too. I know some of you were asking about it. It will include the Fair Isle style pocket. If you are a Silk or Vicuña family member, the pattern will be available on the website for the members only. I will make sure that we have a post about that for the Silk and Vicuña members, so stay tuned for that. And we'll see you guys tomorrow. Have a wonderful afternoon. Stay safe and crafty, and we'll see you soon. Bye, guys.